Hello guys. Okay, so this is going to be what we call a 90-degree cut. It's a uniform cut so that all sides should be basically the same. So you're going to divide your hair into 6 sections. So I should have 3 in the back, mohawk, and 2 on the sides. So there should be a mohawk section, a side section, and divide the back into 3 sections. Okay, so 6 sections. Okay. In cosmetology school, this was my least favorite cut, and it was only because I was kind of scared of it. Once I started doing it, then I'm like, oh my god, this is so easy. But I'm going to show you an easy way to do this. Now, the object of this is so that everything is going to be uniform. So if you have 8 inches here, you should have 8 inches here. You should have 8 inches here. When you're talking about 90 degrees, you're talking about coming in from 90 degrees from the top of the head. Now the head changes shape, right? So 90 degrees changes. See how that changes? And you think, oh, 90 degrees is straight out. It's not. Look, when we hit the occipital, 90 degrees is actually coming straight down. Down here, 90 degrees. So if you take your comb and put it there, it's naturally going to be 90 degrees. On most of your barber combs and cutting combs, you're going to find there's actually units and inches right here too. So if you wanted to measure 9 inches, you can literally use your comb. Okay, so we're going to take off an inch. So this is not going to be uniform because I don't want you to ruin your mannequin. Okay, so for this, you should be taking off a 1/2 inch actually. I'm going to be taking off an inch. Okay, so you can see better. But you should be taking off a 1/2 inch because I don't want you to ruin your mannequin. Use your cutting mannequin. You should be using the same cutting mannequin all the time so that you do have one long hair and one cutting mannequin. Take off a 1/2 inch because you're going to want to do this again. Okay, so don't cut off a lot of hair. It will not be a perfect 90-degree cut because a perfect 90-degree cut, say if you want the top to be 5 inches, you're going to measure that, cut everything off of 5 inches, and everywhere you cut is going to be left at 5 inches, okay, with the traveling guideline. So the first thing we're going to start with is going to be our top. I have this a little bit high for me because I'm trying to make sure you can see it, but this is a little bit higher. We really shouldn't be lifting up like this. I should be lifting a little bit lower. So let's see, I'm going to take off roughly about an inch section here and kind of let that drop over. Let's see if I can lower this a little bit where you can still see. Yeah, I think we'll be okay, so it won't be so high for me. Okay. So again, I'm going to be taking off about an inch section. I want to go at a 90 degree. A 90 degree, and I'm going to show you my little trick for it. Let's get this cleaner section. Okay, if I'm starting here, which you know what, I'm going to start on the apex instead. Be a lot bit cleaner, and you can see it better. And I'll just come back to that. Okay, so it doesn't matter if I cut vertical or horizontal, it's going to end up being the same. Okay, so when I do cut this, if I'm holding this hair like this and see how that bends, I know I'm not at a 90 degree. If I see it bending on the other side, I know I'm not in a degree. If I hold it straight up, and this is straight up, my comb is straight up, I know I'm at a 90 degree. So if I were to cut it this way, which I can, I want to hold that hair straight up. If I bend this way a little bit, I'm not at a 90 degree. You can see a bend in that hair. Okay, my comb is at a 90 degree. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to start here at the back and I'm going to work my way to the front. So I'm going to cut off roughly about an inch. Get to the knuckle. Once you get to the knuckle, stop cutting. Recomb, rehold. You don't want to cut past that knuckle. Hold that in there. This is going to be your guideline. And guys, I don't care if you cut vertically or if you cut horizontally, as long as you come to the same place, because it should end up the same. Because if you cut vertically, then you can cross-check horizontally. Again, I'm going to take another section. Find my guideline, which is right here. Maybe I should. Let's see. If I cut this way so you can see. Maybe if I cut this way, you can see better. I can see my guideline. And cut that off. Trying to cut this to where you guys can see, so sorry, this is not exactly the best form, but again, you can see it better. So again, I'm going to go ahead and take this and recomb. See my guideline, how it ends right there, everything else has to come off. Comb that over, get it out of my way, and bring the rest of this hair in. You guys should be taking smaller sections. Okay, so guys, if I were to take this, let's see if I did a good job, may not have. If I were to take this and take all that hair and just bring it straight up, it should be even, and it is. If I were to take all this hair and bring it straight up this way, it should be even, and the front is a little off. Let's see, actually it's not too much off. It's just, I had it not at total 90 degree. Okay. So this now, the whole entire mohawk section is my guide. So now remember, as I move across this head, that angle changes. Don't forget that. That's what will mess you up on a 90 degree. I'm going to take some guide in here and I'm going to bring that up. And notice if I bring this straight up, I should see my guide right there. That's at 90 degree, and just kind of trim that a little bit. I'm going to take this, bring that up, get it out of my way. Now, I divided my hair into 3 sections. Okay, so this section that's right here is the middle section. I left it out. This is the first section I'm going to cut. Do not cut, don't just drop all this and cut it at one time. You're going to get lost. I'm telling you, it's easy to get lost in this haircut. So take that section, bring it to a 90 degree, and if I bring this, look how that bends right here, and this bends. But if I come up to a 90 degree, that's 90 degree. This is straight, my comb is straight. Everything else comes off. Bring this over. Again, take a small section. Do not take large sections, you're going to get lost. Only cut what's 90 degrees. Right there. Again, that guideline travels. Make sure you're at 90 degrees. There shouldn't be any bending of the hair on either side. Come up to that and cut off. And you're just going to continue going down. And you may want to have, do a different angle. Like you can come up here, make sure it stays at 90 degrees. And I'm going to bring this a little bit forward because I can see I went right out of the cam with that. And I'm going to grab the rest. Make sure I have a guideline. Now you're going to notice the top guideline is here and the bottom guideline is a little shorter, and that's exactly what you want. You have hair in the middle, it comes off. Now that I've done this and the mohawk is my guideline. So now what I can do is I can do the very same thing. I can release this section and I can take basically the first part right here and drop it. And make sure I bring this out at 90 degrees. Find my guideline, and boom. Come off of that, drop that, bring it over, get rid of the rest, get it out of your way because it's just going to confuse you. You can even bring some of that other hair over. Right there is my guideline. Drop that, bring it over. I'm doing small sections so I don't confuse myself. Make sure you're coming straight out at 90. Find that guideline. Right there is my guide. Come straight down. Now typically I cut with ergonomics shears, much easier for me. And then we're just going to bring all this over. Again, my guideline is right here. I'm going to meet this with that guideline and everything else comes off. Perfect. Now I've done this whole entire section plus the mohawk. That's done. Now we're going to move over to this section. So I'm going to release this section. I know exactly where I'm at because I have everything here. I'm going to comb some of that into it and then get rid of the rest so it doesn't confuse me. I'm going to start at the top, bring out just a little bit, not a ton. Make sure you get everything in there. Let's go at 90 degrees. There's my guideline. I can see this hair is straight, both sides are straight, everything comes off. I'm going to drop some of that in there, put the rest up there, and then kind of just, let's go back over here and get that out of my way. Again, bring it to 90. Bringing it to 90 is the most important thing you can do. Once I get my guideline, you can see my guideline is right here, and the rest of this hair has to come off. Basically take some of that hair, pull some of it up top to get out of your way. Don't take off so much that you can't handle it. If you are getting confused, go to smaller sections. And then I'm just going to bring the rest into it. Bring this to a 90. And remember, your guideline is going to be at top and the bottom. This and then the bottom piece and everything else in the middle comes off. And now I've cut all of this hair. Now we're going to move over to the sides. So it's a little more uniform so I can see what we're doing. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to bring this down and bring everything to the side, and I'm just going to bring this up just to get the section that I want to cut. Drop the rest. Bring it to a 90. I'm going to find my guideline, which is right there. I'm going to drop some of this guideline and the rest goes over to get it out of my way. I'm going to bring another section of hair over. And at this point too, there's so little hair, you can bring this whole section up. And what you want to do is marry the top, which is here, to the bottom. So once you find those guidelines, the rest comes off. and just marry the top to the bottom. Now remember, mine is not going to be a perfect 90 because I'm not cutting off, I'm not being at like 6 inches here and 6 inches there. I'm not going to have a perfect 90-degree cut here because I don't want to cut off a lot right now because we're going to do this again. But I'm pretty close. I was cutting off about 1 inch everywhere. So I want to keep the same style of haircut I had with 1 inch lower. Again, we're going to bring this up to 90. Make sure that's straight. I'm going to drop this off, and from this point, there's so little hair left here, I'm just going to marry them together. So I'll measure my top guideline with the bottom guideline and just marry it. And there's my 90. So when you see a 90, basically, you should have lots of layers. You can see how that layers down. And then when you come in, you can see all these wonderful layers there. Now on a perfect 90-degree cut, let's say you're cutting 6 inches here, 6 inches there, 6 inches there, 6 inches at the bottom and marry it. You should be able to take any hunk of hair that you have, and you should be able, it doesn't matter where you take it from. You can take it from here, and you can comb it straight out, and it should be even, and it is. I can take it from here at the top and comb it straight up and make sure I'm at a 90. When I'm at a 90, it should be even, and it is. If it's not, trim a little bit off, and then it'll be a perfect 90-degree cut. Okay, so mine's pretty well, looks pretty good, being that I didn't do an even 90-degree cut all over. I only took 1 inch off everywhere. But as you can see, if I were to shake this out a little bit, look at those beautiful layers. So these are called short layers because they're starting up to here and going all the way down. Okay, they make beautiful layers. This is a 90-degree cut. Also called a uniform cut. And that is it, guys. So again, make sure you cross-check, so you should be able to pull hunks of hair because that's not going to check you, and it should be a perfect, even straight line. Anywhere you pull it at 90 degrees should be perfect, a straight line. For your test, yes, you should measure. So you need to take off, if you're going to make sure that the top is 5 inches, or if you start off with the 5 inches down here when you do your blunt cut, as you start off, if there's 5 inches here, you should be measuring 5 inches here. 5 inches here, because it's a uniform cut. Okay, guys? All right, that was your 90-degree cut, and make sure you do this by video. Explain to me in detail what you're doing and step by step. Make sure you have at least 6 sections. Do not do this in 4 sections. You will get lost. Do this in 6 sections and you will be fine. Okay, guys, good luck with this. See you in class.